The Raiders are trading high-motor defensive end Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens. And said Birds gave up their first-round picks this year and next to get the stud. Woo. Big stuff. Guessing the Vikes have a new veteran quarterback on the roster by I don't know, like Friday. Kyler, Geno, A-Raj. Take your pick. Who do you like? E-Will is back in the fold for the Purple. Terrific news. And we have a gold medal winner in studio with us today at 11 o'clock. But first, we begin with Mad Producer and the Northern Fire Weekend Sizzle.
Indeed, the Weekend Wrap brought to you by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. We're going to start with the state hockey tournament over the weekend. The title games were so good. Both required overtime. First, it was 4-4 between Hibbing and War Road.
With the puck is...
Ryan Shagabe! Mooney with the overtime winner. 1 minute into overtime. And for the first time since 2005, the War Road Warriors are state champs.
Kevin Fallness on the call. That was single A. How about double A? Moorhead fighting their way back to tie Minnetonka in the third period. They go to double OT.
With the puck is Tate Hardiker from Minnetonka. It's poked out to his stick. Moorhead takes over. Max Conn with a quick pass here up the right wing side. Here's Wander with a shot. He scores! Back to back for the Spuds! Moorhead wins it in double overtime!
Zach Halverson on the call. Great work by Mr. Fallness, Mr. Halverson, I believe Danny Ryan, providing analysis throughout a busy, packed, and awesome state tournament weekend. Second year in a row, by the way. Both the titles were won, brackets swept by outstate teams. Congrats to all involved. Out of the Minnesota Wild, they were pocketing cash in Vegas on Friday night.
It ahead, McCarron bounced it along. It's a 2-on-1, making a 3-on-1. Tarasenko dropped it back to Spurgeon, took a return pass, and he scores! Vladimir Tarasenko beats Schmid 5-hole, and the Wild with some insurance late. It's 4-1 Minnesota.
But sadly, they were stymied in Mile High Denver yesterday.
McKinnon now, another chance to win it for the hometown Avalanche. He's 1 for 3 on the season. He'll pick up the puck, darting in McKinnon. Right through the chute, slows the pace down and scores. Nathan McKinnon wins it for Colorado. Speeding in, jamming on the brakes. Snapped the glove side, and the Avs survive the Wild's third period push.
Yeah, the Wild are now 10 back of the Avs. Good that they got a point. I think they got 5 out of 6 their last 3 playing some tough teams, so you dig that part. But 2 fewer games remaining than Colorado. Wild 10 back. Dream probably dead to win the Central with 18 to go. They got the Mammoth tomorrow at home. Vox in the Box on Thursday with Philly. Everybody's been waiting to see Bobby Brink play his former team. We're going to be on site at Tria for that on Thursday. Out of college hoops, how about the Gopher men ending their regular season with a dramatic W?
They get it in for Singleton. Now to Martinelli with 5. A 3 in the air. Back iron is no good. Rebound tipped once, twice. It's loose. And that's the ball game. Gophers hold on. They win it by 1. Martinelli missed the 3. The ball became a hot potato. Never got possessed by anybody. And Minnesota is in possession of a regular season closing win by 1.
Well done by the Maroon and Gold. That is their regular season finale. Big Ten tournament ahead for Nico Medved's squad. I believe most would be aware. I think they got to win that Big Ten tournament if they want to find themselves in the big tournament. But they'll play Rutgers on Wednesday in Chicago. Their first matchup of the Big Ten tourney. Sadly, Gopher women, they lost to Ohio State in their Big Ten tourney matchup on Friday, 60-55. All good, though, in terms of the tourney. They should be a lock to make the NCAA tourney. Selection Sunday, this next Sunday. We'll find out where they sit. ESPN Bracketology currently has Gopher women as a 4 seed. And now, as part of the Weekend Wrap, brought to you by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply, some weekend wisdom. The quality of your grill pellets matter, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're using a brand and a pellet. It's high quality, truly hardwood, no artificial binders, additives, or glues. You think you're saving money, but the cheap stuff burns faster, lead to auger jams, excessive ash buildup. You don't want that, and some just smell awful and make your food taste weird. Don't skimp on the pellets. Weekend Wrap brought to you by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply. Oh, hang on. I got one more bit as part of the Weekend Wrap. I kind of wanted to forget this, to be honest. It was the Wolves on Saturday with Orlando.
The Wolves kind of rode that early lead, still with a 7-point lead midway through the second. And then Orlando, 19-2 to close the first half, and they just really have not stopped since. Bain adds to his total. He's got 26.
Oh, cool. Banchero and Bain and Wendell Carter Jr. Oh, my. The Wolves housed this weekend in their own house. 119-90 the final. That puts a wrap on said wrap, PA. It was a tough one.
Yeah, it was, and more on that momentarily. The Green Bay Packers have traded Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys. Rashawn Gary is out of the division, traded to the Cowboys today for a 4th-round pick in 2027.
Oh, my gosh.
Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys, and these are from Tom Pelissero's tweets and his X account, .com Tom, second to none. Tua till you're satisfied.
Whatever it is.
Tua's been released.
Yeah.
So we got
see that fat dead money number, too?
Yeah, I got it right in front of me.
Yeah, $99 million split over the next 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the Dolphins are going to have to pay him $54 million in 2026, and he's not even going to play for them.
So Tom Pelissero with the Power Trib Morning Show and NFL Network tweets an hour ago with Tua Tagovailoa's impending release now announced. 4 veteran quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, and Tua, are set to become free agents at 3 o'clock Central Wednesday.
Yeah.
Total fully guaranteed money owed to those quarterbacks in 2026, $119.3 million.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, that's some shoddy business right there.
Yeah, it's 54 to Tua, 36.8 to Kyler, 18.5 to Geno. Noel Kirko's still getting 10, adding you up to 119.3. Unbelievable.
With the Timberwolves, this is FISA for me, FISA, Fairness in Stay Calm Act. I hated the Saturday game, and I hate using the word hate. But in this context, I didn't like that game a lick against Orlando. Too late in the season to see one of those, personally speaking. And I was super excited for the matinee, because Orlando is low-key good, man. When Philly came in here and won, Philly had 1 star, Tyrese Maxey. And we shrugged, to a certain extent, some of us shrugged off that one as a bad day at the office. Orlando is good and tough with Banchero, Bain, Suggs, and some hard-charging beef eaters. Now, Ant came out swinging. Anthony Edwards came out like a superstar of all superstars ever to superstar. The others didn't punch with him. And we got smacked at home Saturday by nearly 30.
Oh, my gosh.
Some in the age of rage would be like, Paul, shut up. They just won 8 of 9 and beat some good teams. All right, that's fair. That's fair. And I ain't tripping with 18 to go. All right? Because I absolutely like them to make the Western Conference Finals. I'm thinking more about the home crowd that was at that game where said Hal lost by nearly 30 points to a team from the Eastern Conference. Those who came to see a weekend humdinger, for instance, like my man, the banker brother Tim, he was front row. And that probably felt like watching somebody rob your bank.
I always love that one.
And truth be told, what is it with the Minnesota Timberwolves, our beloved Hal, and home games on the weekend? All right? I mean, if Nordo and I were professional in the 702, we'd be rich off this thing, and I ain't kidding you. The last 4 weekend games at home, and back to January 24th, check out this take, talker, trend, and talkback. Saturday, March 7th at Target Center, Orlando wins by 27. Sunday, February 22nd at home, Philly cruises by 27 with 1 superstar. and we made rookie BJ Edgecombe look like a combo of Dr. J and World Be Free.
I always love that one.
Sunday, February 8th. Clippers are here. Kawhi goes for like 41, and we get run by 19. And finally, January 25th, here, Golden State runs away and hides at Target Center by 26. Everybody's working for the weekend is just a song sometimes to these guys. I mean, it's just astonishing when considering a couple of Sundays ago in Denver, they looked terrific. And at Memphis late January, they buried the Grizz at Memphis, at the Mile Get High City, both on the road. Minnesota fans are smart. Minnesota fans are learned sports fans, man, and sometimes require the team to give them reason to get loud during a weekend or regular season game. When Orlando started dismantling the Timberwolves, it was middle of the second quarter Saturday, and that place was quiet and never given a true chance to go Nordo on it and tear the roof off the sucker.
I always love that one.
March 28th. That's the answer. March 28th. Write it down. Appointment viewing, appointment listening, March 28th. That's the next weekend home game. It's the Pistons with Cade Cunningham. Hope it's not one of those hide the women and children productions on the weekend in Minneapolis. All right. Former Minnesota Wild coach Bruce Boudreau is with us next segment, and we happen to be quite excited about that. Everything's sad with the Capitals. The Bruins never lose at home, and the Ratty Pacific at one point this weekend, your Pacific Division, that Ratty Pacific Division at one point this weekend had 6 teams on some form of a losing streak.
I always love that one.
Thank you, TimberTech, and TimberTech.com. What's on deck 9 to noon today includes talkbacks that are very, very important. NFL free agency is underway today, and we want you to tell us how you would make the Vikings better. It's anticipated and has been reported. We found some money. We have money with restructures and releases. Not as much as we had before yesterday, late last night, or this morning because of the Eric Wilson signing, but that's fine. We still have money. I mean, we might have gone from 40 in arrears to like 40 on the good side before the E-Will deal. Not sure. Can't figure it out. Don't care. But here's the bottom line. The acting GM is the most well-respected capologist in the history of the National Football League. And his philosophy on team building requires money. And all of a sudden, we have money. And we lie in green pastures with funny money to drop on new players. Talkback's free iHeart audio app. Hit it analytically, sarcastically, or seriously. Or maybe you dare to dream. That'll take place in a couple of segments today. Nicknamed Gabby, former Wild coach Bruce Boudreau joins 9 to noon around the corner. Happy Monday. You're listening to the 9 to noon presentation on FM 100.3 KFAN. Former Wild coach Bruce Boudreau. Hey there, buddy. It's Paul Allen. Let me get the Olympics quickly out of the way first, because that's the last time we chatted. Canada clearly carried the play enough to do damage, but got beat in the game's most important moments, and thus the USA got the gold. Is that fair?
Absolutely fair. Yeah.
Now, to the current nature of situations, Mr. Bruce Boudreau, the Minnesota Wild lost in a shootout yesterday at Denver. But I left that game in the last couple of games against the Avs, believing your former team absolutely can beat the Avalanche in a 7-game series. Do you agree or disagree with the take?
I agree. Watching them play the Avs yesterday and Dallas a couple days ago, that they can absolutely play equal or better than both of those teams. So it's it's going to make it quite interesting come playoff time.
Now, I mean, this may be the dumbest question you get all day. I recognize Colorado's down Landeskog. Okay, he's important.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? So is Marcus Foligno to the Minnesota Wild, don't you think?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't think, look, these teams are all really equal. And in the end, like, I think Colorado, you could say, outplayed Minnesota a little bit, but I think what equals out is the goaltending. Wallstedt was unbelievable, and he's been like that all year. So, and their power play is much better than Colorado's. So depending on the penalty situations in a game, I think there's no doubt in my mind, watching a lot of Minnesota hockey, that they can win, and they can believe they believe they can win, which is probably more important than me saying that they can win.
Hey, Bruce, when you mention power play better than somebody else with a couple of playoff teams, how much does that matter in the postseason when the refs have been known to swallow the whistles a little bit?
Yeah, in the first round, they don't swallow the whistles. They try to sit there and they'll say, if you can imagine, hey, we are doing the same stuff as we did in the regular season. This is how we're going to call it. So in the first round, they still call a lot of penalties. By the second, third, and fourth round, they let them play. So, and to me, the first round of the playoffs is going to be the most important when it comes to the Central Division. When those 2-3 teams meet.
Yeah.
But in the end, if you get 2 power plays a game in the semifinals and the finals, and you score on one of them, and the other team doesn't, usually the difference in a game is 1 goal. So, I mean, it'll make all the difference in the world. And and if you look, some of these games might be a little more physical than others, so there might be more penalties in that. But I really believe the special teams are usually the equalizers in a playoff round, because 5-on-5 usually, when it comes to the playoffs, both teams are pretty equal. It's the special teams and the goaltending that makes the difference.
Okay, and off that with the physicality piece, so round 1, okay, with it kind of being like the regular season, the way you just laid it out. But moving forward, I think we can agree Kirill Kaprizov and Quinn Hughes are 2 of the very best players in the NHL. Maybe not the very best, but 2 of the very best. So, but they're both, especially Hughes, they're not super big. Like they're slight of frame to a certain extent with Kaprizov. How does that factor in with the postseason, where specifically in the middle of the ice, where they're not calling as many penalties, and some of the bigger players are afforded the opportunity to kind of beat up on guys like that? What do you think of that?
Well, I do think it means something, because the physicality in the playoffs picks up by at least 50%.
Yeah. Nobody
passes checks. Nobody misses checks. This is why you hear so much about having the bigger, stronger teams is a playoff team, and they usually succeed. Now, the small guys are still great, and those 2 guys you mentioned, Kaprizov and Quinn Hughes, are 2 of the greatest. And I don't think it'll bother them, because it's almost impossible to hit them. But I will say this, that as a forward, Kaprizov is going to be hit every chance he gets. Every chance he gets, he's not going to be. They're not going to pass on him. They're going to hit him. They're going to hit him. They're going to hit him, and they will be dumping pucks into Quinn Hughes' corner, hoping that they get a chance to run him. But you know what? What makes these players great is they know that, and they've seen that, and they're going to be able to evade most of it. But it's going to make for a tougher playoff for sure.
Old school, best school, former Wild coach Bruce Boudreau, 9 to noon. With the trade deadline in the rearview mirror, Bruce, how difficult is it getting new guys to mesh after trades? Because the Wild are integrating several of them right now.
Yeah, you know what? It's a great question, Paul. I've had one real experience of exactly what the Wild did, and in 2010 when I was in Washington, we were the number one team in the league, and at trade deadline we added 4 players, and to a team that was already really good. And it really, and there were good players that we added and great people, but we added players. Now we had to sit out regulars from the team. It started to, I think it affected our chemistry of our team. And that's the only thing when I was looking at the trade deadline and looking what Minnesota was doing. That was my biggest fear. They've already got a real good team, and they added 4 pieces, I think. And I mean, how's that going to affect the room? Now guys that were normally playing regular aren't going to be playing every night. Guys that the minutes might be down on some of the guys. So I mean, I'm not saying it's going to affect it or will it. I just know from past experience it affected the Caps, and you know, it even affected when my first year in Minnesota when we March 1st at the trade deadline that year, we added Martin Hansel and Ryan White, and it really affected our chemistry because that put Eric Hall into the 4th line, and we went from being first place in the league on March 1st, that date, to losing out to Chicago for the division title. So, jeez. I mean, I'm not saying it will or it won't, but these are the things at trade deadline that you don't know. You go get really good players, but you don't know how it's going to affect the group that you already have.
Hey,
so that's my biggest fear when it comes to Minnesota.
Do you think with the Wild's blue liners, Bruce, do you think the Wild, with the top six defensemen, make up the best group in the NHL? Because we hear that with the talk around here a fair amount.
Well, and it is a fair thing. I mean, when I look at Spurgeon and I look at Brodin, who I know both of them very well, I know how good they are, and I look at Faber, and I know how good Quinn Hughes is because I've had him. And, you know, you add these, you know, that top 4 in itself is as good as anybody. Then they've got some size on 5 and 6 in Middleton and I forget who else is
Bogosian.
there, but they are as good as anybody, and they're as deep as anybody. And when you have the deep defense, guys that can move the puck, guys that are physical in front, and you've got the goaltending that Minnesota has, you should be in play for against any team, and I think they are. The only problem is the 2 other teams that they could be in play against are the other 2 best teams in the league. So it's going to make for one heck of a playoff.
What was Hughesy like with Vancouver?
I loved him. We talked all summer. One thing you don't know is I knew Quinn when he was 2 and 3 years old because his dad was my assistant coach in the minors.
Wow.
So I got to know them, and when I went into Vancouver, Quinn was the first one I sat down with and said, "Is everything good?" Like this and that. And we became, I thought, pretty tight. I mean, I'd talk to him in the summer. He's a hockey nerd, and that's a very good phrase. Like he plays it. Like I remember that the summer after the first year, he said, "I'm going to try the right side. We need a right side defenseman. You know, if you need, I'm going to be shooting more." And his shot got better. Everything else, he works his butt off at the game, and he just loves to play hockey. You know what? He's the kind of guy that you would think would have been born in Minnesota because of his love for the game and the way and how much he plays it. So I think Billy hit a home run when they got him, and whatever they had to give up, they gave up. But it wasn't as good of what they got in return. So I mean, you're not going to ever hear me say anything bad about Quinn. Loved every second of him.
That was beautifully shared.
Little puck talk.
Once again, Bruce coached Vancouver and also Anaheim from the Pacific. All right, here's the deal. I just want to get your opinion on this. That division this year, the Pacific this year, Bruce, at one point this weekend, 6 of them were on losing streaks. I just can't figure out this Pacific division. What do you think?
It's horrible. I mean, it's simple as that. It's like I look at the big team is supposed to be Vegas, and I mean Vegas is in. I mean, they better start winning, or they're not going to make the playoffs. And I mean Edmonton, who's been in the Cup Finals the last 2 years, that was a huge win for them last night because they're on the verge of missing the playoffs. When you've got teams like San Jose and Anaheim potentially being in the playoffs, and Seattle in the West, it's not very deep. And I just don't know how all 8 teams in that division can get so weak so quickly. But it's offset by the fact that the Central Division is so good. So
right.
Maybe it goes in circles. Who knows? But the Pacific Division, excuse me, it's sometimes if you win the Pacific Division, it's sort of an easy route to the Final Four, which is sort of unfair.
Well, okay, off that, do you think the San Jose Sharks, all right, with Celebrini, Will Smith, and Toffoli, and others too, it can make life difficult on some teams if they sneak into the postseason?
No. I mean, if they sneak into the postseason as, say, the 8th seed, I don't think so. I think because this year, getting to the postseason for San Jose would be like, that's their Stanley Cup, is just getting there. And same for Utah. Same for all these teams that have been out for a long time. But I think it's a learning process that the managements on both of these, on all of those kind of teams, want the players to see the feel it is just to get there. It's like, I mean, Montreal last year snuck in, but now just making the playoffs and losing in the first round is not going to do it for Montreal. They want to advance. So, but some of these young players have never seen the atmosphere, never seen how the pace picks up, how the game picks up. They think they know it. They've been told about it, but unless you experience it, you don't really know it. So teams like San Jose, if they make the playoffs, that's a win-win-win for them. They don't expect to go any further this year. But, I mean, they'll give it a good college try. I just don't think that they're capable of beating the first-place team in the Central Division.
Okay, so whether it's the West or the East, Bruce, Coach Boudreau, is there a team or are there teams you think might be sitting on big things kind of as an underdog from the bottom or, maybe like 5th seed down in either conference?
Well, 5th seed down, I don't think so. But I will tell you, an underdog, the way they're playing, is Buffalo, even though they're in first place. This team is, from December 9th, has been the best team in the NHL. And they've been incredible. You're going to have the Utah would be the one team that if I'm talking 5th seed is, boy, they've been playing pretty good hockey all on the road lately if they could keep it up. But I don't know if they can. Like usually Phoenix, now they're a better team than when they were in Phoenix, but in March is sort of a folding type of year. They've played really hard all year, but I think they've got more talent this year. So off the top of my head, that would be the only team. You got the top 3. To me, there's only 5 teams in the NHL that could win the Cup, and the 3 in the Metro, and maybe Tampa or Carolina. That would be it right now. And so anybody else that wins or gets close, to me, is an upset.
All right, so you're going to get most likely Wild and Dallas playing in round 1, and I mean they're two of the best. They're 2 of the best 5 teams in the NHL, maybe 2 of the best 6. So now the Wild play the Stars 2 times the rest of the season. All right, so if they indeed meet round 1 of the postseason, like how would you coach those final 2 regular season games? Is it business as usual? Or play a way you set the tone for what most likely is coming up pretty soon?
Well, to me, it would be business as usual, if you can, and get it in their heads that we can beat you. And Dallas is playing their best, and we keep beating them in these last 2 games. It might be in their heads. Plus, I think home ice advantage would be at stake, and I think that's important as well. So there's a lot to a lot to play for. But when you get in the playoffs, you just give your head a shake, and none of this stuff matters. You know, the one thing I will say is Dallas will know exactly what Minnesota's tendencies are. Minnesota will know exactly what Dallas's tendencies are. And whoever can play their game plan the best, who can be more physical, because this is what it comes down to. Being more physical, winning the battles. We can talk all of those analytics till the cows come home, but it's going to mean these things of winning battles, one-on-one battles, playing tougher in the trenches, and when you get it, taking advantage of your opportunities. And it's very similar to football when it comes to the playoffs. I mean, who wins the offensive line matches? It's always comes, no matter what the analytics and everything show, that's what usually ends up taking place, is whoever wins those battles wins the game. And I think both teams know what it's at stake. That's why I think Billy went and got a little bigger for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, that's why once Billy got McCarron, then Colorado went out and got Nicholas Roy. Like, okay, we got to offset these guys, right? And that's they're looking towards it, which is why the Central Division is so exciting.
Time for two more for Brucey, the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs, your beloved Maple Leafs, that they have Austin Matthews and are 15th in the Eastern Conference. As a Toronto native, how does that make you feel? And I'd imagine the fan base is up in arms during this age of rage.
Oh, I got to believe it. You know, I'm an ex-Leaf. I'm still an alumni with them. And it's so you get all the information about these guys. And I guarantee you the city's not very happy. The team's not very happy. They've lost 7 in a row. They look like they want the season to end right away. And in the Toronto press, and it's a tough city to play in. You can't hide. And I think there'll be a lot of movement this summer when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they got to surround, again, Austin Matthews with some players that can play. I mean, because he doesn't look very happy when he's playing out there these days.
All right, last one here, also Eastern Conference. What do you think of the Detroit Red Wings? And I ask because, all right, I knew who Lucas Raymond was, but I've never really watched him that closely. I've seen Dylan Larkin play a bunch of times. But, like, I'm watching Lucas Raymond in the Olympics. I'm like, wow. You know, I mean, I want to watch this team a little bit. So I like watching the Wings. But what's strange is despite being the 4th seed in the East, the Detroit Red Wings are the only team in that conference's top 10 with a minus goal differential. Now, you got Larkin, Raymond, DeBrincat, and John Gibson between the pipes, and I like all 4 of those. What does Bruce Boudreau make of the Wings?
You know what? I look at it a little bit differently, as I know the coaching staff really well. And I think they're all pretty sharp, and they will be prepared. But I'm still not a Wings fan, to be honest. I just don't see it. Like, they added David Perron, who's 37 years old, may or may not play. He's had hernia surgery. They added another older piece. I mean, Patrick Kane isn't the dominant player that he once was, and if you look at around those guys, he's small, and DeBrincat is small. Larkin is not overly big. I mean, they don't have a really top-notch number 2 center. Raymond's the best player. So I'm like, I mean, I still look at them and go, okay, they beat New Jersey 3-0 yesterday, but I mean, they're going to have to continue to win in these last 20 games for me just to see them make the playoffs, because I think they're a good team and they're an upcoming team, but they're not a team that's there yet. Oh. And I think they'll be struggled just to get in as a wild card in the East.
When can we watch you on NHL Network this week?
I was on 5 days last week, so I get a little bit of a break till the end of the month now. So I'll be just doing my cap stuff and my TSN stuff.
Good.
And stuff like this with you as often as you want.
Yes.
Right here.
So are you going to head over to Hershey Park and maybe ride the roller coasters?
That will be the last thing on my mind until my grandkids come down. Then they can get on with their parents, and I'll watch them.
Tell Crystal that I say hi, and thanks for the time. We'll call you soon.
I will for sure. Absolutely. Anytime, Paul.
See you, brother. Bruce Boudreau, former Minnesota Wild coach, currently with NHL Network, on the status of the NHL up to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Wild and Utah here tomorrow night. Wild hosting Philly on Thursday. That's a Vox in the Box day for 9 to noon at Tria. All right. Talkbacks next segment if you're into it. Simple question. You can add to it. You can change it. You can alter it. And or you can, you can have tentacles to it. Make the Minnesota Vikings better with free agency beginning today. Eric Wilson has been re-signed. Adam Schefter reported the Vikings also have a re-signed linebacker Ivan Pace to a restricted free agency low tender. Make the Vikings better. Which quarterback do you want? Now is the time to state your case. This is very, very important in the pantheon of sports talk radio. KFAN Sports Talk time is 9:44. Head to the free iHeart audio app. You get up to 30 seconds to make the Minnesota Vikings better. Like I said towards the end of the open, be analytical with it, be sarcastic with it, be funny with it, be serious with it, but be with it. Talkbacks around the corner, KFAN.
Hey guys, it's Marshall in Minnetonka. Happy free agency. If we sign Kyler Murray, I think we also need to sign a second veteran quarterback because of Murray's durability concerns. If he goes down, you might not want to stick J.J. McCarthy in there if he's not ready at that point. So I think you need a second veteran to pair with Murray if indeed Kyler is the guy.
All right, Marshall. Well, I mean, McCarthy's into his third year. He's JJ. I mean, he's kind of got some veteran to it. But, I mean, it depends on which veteran you sign. I mean, if it's the Brett Rippins of the world or the John Skeltons or Skylar Thompsons of the world, you probably can put them on your practice squad and not have to worry about it. So maybe that's the answer.
I don't know. I think if you go with Kyler this week and he was to get injured, you're putting McCarthy out there. Yep. I mean, I
agreed.
I understand.
Thank you.
We're worried about the future of 9, and 9 needs to go away and just be JJ and improve and all of those things.
Yes.
If Kyler or it's Gino or it's Kirk, McCarthy's going out on the field, and that's just. And I get where Marshall's going with it. It's JJ McCarthy will be either the starter or our backup.
If you believe the quarterback Minnesota will sign this week, if you believe they will sign a veteran from another team, then I believe it's wise to recognize said slinger is going to be required to accept as close to the veteran minimum as you possibly can get.
Yeah.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem because of the fat stacks of cash that the likes of Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Tua Tagovailoa, they're all going to be available at some point this week. But they all have fat stacks of cash coming from their former teams. So I think that's a factor in it. Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, I'm not eliminating Aaron Rodgers from the equation. So all of that, I believe, should and or will come to pass sometime this week.
Do you think, given with Rodgers, the one that does not have the offset dollars with other teams, does that make that a bigger hurdle than to sign old 12?
Well,
because if he wants 7 or 8,
question.
that's all that money's coming out of your pockets and not the previous teams.
I think you could have gotten him last year for somewhere between 3.5 and 5.
Whoa!
I think he ended up signing for 10.
It was something like that, yeah.
So that would be, it doesn't have to be the veteran minimum, 1 year, one whatever, but close to it.
I get you.
Eric Wilson back in the mix, 2-year deal, 3-year deal. Ivan Pace tendered with a low tender. And Rashawn Gary was traded by he's going to be traded once things start going official today. Well, they go official Wednesday. That's the first day of the league year.
This whole thing is dumb, by the way.
Yeah, I just call it. I don't even call it the oxymoron bit anymore. The legal tampering Monday and or Tuesday. It's the beginning of free agency.
Because they even do the thing now, PA, and they just started this year. And so free agency starts really in earnest so much today, they had to change a rule. And maybe it was because of Kirk. Remember, he flippant or just casually mentioned, I think he had talked to a trainer or something.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that whole thing with Atlanta?
Oh, wow.
Well, now there's
O'Connell at the Combine being interviewed by NFL Network on the Saturday with chagrin on his face.
Yeah.
Before the Combine was over.
Yeah, he got word in Indy. But you can now teams can connect with up to 5 players today in advance of the league year opening and can speak to them for, I believe, at max an hour or something to make sure they can connect with each other before they agree to these deals. So free agency starts today.
Yeah.
And it's kind of frustrating that they kind of parse it out or phrase it up the way that they do.
Well, with Rashawn Gary traded for a 4th-round pick, and the 4th-round pick, by the way, is in 2027.
Yeah.
So the Dallas peddled a 2027 4th for Rashawn Gary, who, I mean, I thought he started pretty well last year, but then things seemed to fall off. I mean, you'd even get the Vox Wayne Larrabee joining 9 to noon, voicing low-key displeasure with the way Rashawn Gary was playing. This goes back to last year for me. And Jeff Hafley, now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, when he came from Boston College to become the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, the best intel I got on Hafley was from Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, who knows him extremely well, is quite fond of him too, but they're quite close. And for the most part, it went to bearing its fruit the last couple of years with Hafley. And this certainly doesn't make me right. And Hafley forever will know 10 of 10 more about football than me. But when they put Rashawn Gary's, quote, hand in the grass, end quote, and kind of made him a traditional 4-3 defensive end, I didn't like it. I didn't think it had as much pop as they thought it would. It reminded me of when our guy, Dom Capers, was defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Sleepy Dom rolled in there, and he took Aaron Campman off the best season he's ever had and made him a stand-up edge guy.
Rip Van Capers.
Or either from an edge to a hand-in-the-grass guy or vice versa. And that was it. Aaron Campman never was the same. So I think that played into Rashawn Gary's season last year. But we'll see how it works out for Rashawn with the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, it's kind of amazing how quickly that stuff changes, too, where it sounds like they were really deeply down the road with the Raiders on the Max Crosby trade. Would not commit
Dallas was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Would not commit to the 2 firsts.
Oof.
And now they're finding their way to Rashawn. How much did they want? Did you see the bit with his Instagram post and then he was claiming, saying goodbye and then claiming he was hacked?
Yeah.
Somebody went to the trouble of and so they went from trying to get Max Crosby to now flipping a 2027 4th for Gary. I mean, that's not bad value.
Yeah.
Now they got to pay him. He's going to get 18 and 21 the next 2 years in salary. That's what the contract's at right now. So we shall see.
We asked a question to begin the presentation. Same question may emerge tomorrow. Make the Vikings better. I mean, you're elite football minds. You see the names available in free agency. You know who's available on your team. You've read all of the Grenard steam. Then Jeremy Fowler, the senior reporter for ESPN. He's been all over it, but he did it again, and it was within the last couple of hours where he's like, a Jonathan Grenard trade is on the radar of Jeremy Fowler.
Come on.
For a Friday draft pick. And, there could be, Nordo pointed this out to me between segments when I was like, really? But there could be a ballyhooed fat new deal on the horizon for Grenard. So that absolutely factors into it, but Jonathan Grenard is so good.
That does not make the Vikings better.
He's so good against the run and rushing the quarterback and as a locker room guy, and he and Van Ginkel are a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl a few years ago, we identified the MB3 with Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes. All right, That's a legitimate thing. That's formidable. Van Ginkel and Grenard, formidable. All right, so let's cast the gaze the way of the 2026, Dallas Turner's third year. Will it be as formidable if Grenard's gone as Grenard and Van Ginkel? Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner. Only time will tell, Davey. But the money aspect of it just kind of messes things up for 9 to noon. We love Jonathan Grenard. The Power Trip loves Jonathan Grenard. And hopefully Jonathan Grenard's still on the team after we get past the first few days of free agency. So whether it's a new quarterback for the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy-related opinions kind of being lost in the shuffle here, talkbacks free iHeart audio app, make the Vikings better into free agency. Any more?
Yeah, well, we got a bunch, but we'll play one or two here as we got to get to Charge as well. Here's
thank you,
Nardo, PA. Eric from Fangato here.
Hi.
This is how you make the Vikings better.
Okay.
You could upgrade their offensive line or their defensive line.
I like it.
Or their secondary.
Oh.
Or their linebackers.
Honey.
No, it's Joe Burrow. Go get Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Close your eyes and picture this team with Joe Burrow and tell me you don't want that to happen. See you, fellas.
It'd be the bomb. It would be the bomb. It's the only way to put it. I mean, ever since late last season when Burrow had that weird press conference where, I shouldn't say weird, when he opened a vein, he's like, I got some things going on off the field that are really working on me. And then he was very disappointed with the way things were going with the Bengals. So then the tweet machine immediately blew up that Joe Burrow's available for trade, which he may be or may. Everybody is available for the right price. I got no idea what the price would be, but you talk about having an identifiable thing. I mean, Burrow and Jefferson, Burrow and Addison, play action off Emmett Johnson. Holy cow, that's good enough to eat. All right, Paul Charchian is going to join us today to chat about free agency and more. That's around the corner, and this is 9 to noon at KFAN.